Hello everyone, I'm Vincent White. I'm an employment attorney, and today we're talking about the work from home accommodation for a disability in the post-COVID world. And we've all been working from home, right? We've all been doing it for weeks now. At least most of the country has. Most of the country that hasn't been deemed an essential worker, that has to go to work and risk his or her life every day. But for the rest of us, work from home is the new normal, as every newscaster loves to say, right? Now, for years and years and years, many of you who are dealing with disabilities have probably known that employers hate to grant work from home as a reasonable accommodation, right? There's a lot of people who have various medical conditions that would like to work from home all the time or part of the time, and their doctors will put in writing that would be incredibly helpful for their condition. It would help to keep them safe. It would help them regenerate their health. But employers just don't like it. They want people in the office. They want to see people. That's always been the case, and there's been so much litigation back and forth over these work from home accommodations over the years. Now, a big part of what employers argue has always been, hey, it's not reasonable. It's not reasonable for you to work from home. We need all our people in one place. We need to see them. We need them to collaborate. It's part of our process. We need you exposed to our corporate culture. And having you home isn't reasonable because we lose all of that. Okay. That's been the argument for a long time. Sometimes it wins, sometimes it loses, but it's been a big part of the push to keep people from working from home. Now, I think employers are going to have a very difficult time making that argument, right? And let's look at it. Let's say we'll go through a hypothetical. You have a disability. Your doctor says, "Hey, with this particular disability that you're dealing with, it would be much better for you if you could work from home 2 days a week." We'll just say 2 days a week, and you take that reasonable accommodation letter, that request for reasonable accommodation, you take it to your employer. Now, many of you will know, if you watch the channel, that means your employer owes you, under federal law, and many state and local laws as well, a reasonable accommodation dialogue, right? They need to take what you're asking for, the accommodation you're saying you need, look at it, have a discussion on their side, and then have a discussion with you about whether or not they can do that, whether or not they view it as reasonable. Now, if they fail to have the reasonable accommodation dialogue, they've already failed, right? If they just say no, they fail because they haven't had the dialogue, they haven't done what they have to do to comply with the law. Now, the second part of that is they could have the reasonable accommodation dialogue with you, they could do everything right at the dialogue stage, and then come to you and say, hey, we really looked at it, we really tried to make it work, but we don't think it's reasonable. We don't think we can let you work from home 2 days a week. Now, okay, they've gotten at least the first part right. You didn't sue them because they failed to engage in the dialogue, but now they're saying it's not reasonable. Well, 6 months ago, maybe that's an argument, but today, if they come to you and they say, hey, we don't think this reasonable accommodation to work from home 2 days a week is reasonable, the response is, that's funny. I just did it for 3 months. Wasn't it reasonable then? Didn't it go great? You didn't fire me. I got a good review. Seems like it went well. How is it suddenly not so reasonable? And I think you see where we're going here, right? It's not the perfect argument. It's not going to carry every time because some employers are going to say, well, sure, but productivity was down 30% company-wide. We had people work from home. There's things they can do to play defense against this. I'm not saying you have the perfect argument. What I'm saying is your argument is substantially stronger than it was 3 months ago, 6 months ago, right? Today, the argument that you should be able to work from home as an accommodation for your disabilities is stronger than it's ever been in the United States. Ever. So if you're suffering, if your doctor's been really pushing you, listen, you need to talk about work from home a little bit. Like, you're hurting yourself. You're harming your health. This is unsafe for you. Maybe it's even unsafe for others, for all we know, right? I mean, that is a reality. Sometimes a medical condition is not only unsafe for you, but it's hard on others, or it's even dangerous for others, right? That's why these laws exist, to keep you and everyone around you safe, or at least as safe as we can make you. So I suggest, if you've previously been turned down for a work from home accommodation, it's time to sit down with your doctor and say, hey, do I still need this accommodation? Would this help me be safer, healthier, happier? And if your doctor says yes, then it's time to speak with an employment attorney, because things have changed. Your employer is going to have a harder time saying no now. And it might be time to make that step and push a little bit harder and get what you need to live a better life and a longer life and a safer life. I hope this helps. Stay safe, everyone.